Have you ever wondered about those who dream of a better life versus those who create it? Are you waiting to accomplish your dreams and goals? Welcome to Create It Now with your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to put your dreams into motion and create it now. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Or toll free 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now let's bring on the host and create it now. Here is Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome to the Create It Now radio show. Your host, Dawn Elizabeth, along with Jonathan Stone. How are you doing today, Jonathan?
Wonderful in this rainy Las Vegas. How are you doing today?
I know, right? Good. Yeah, that was... I told you earlier, I think it started raining in Vegas because I was talking to my dad back in New York, and we always talk about the weather. Right. And I said, "Oh, it's been so beautiful in Vegas," and then the rain showed up.
The rain. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
and the whole thing it was pretty nice. Then we had to go to a meeting. As soon as we get out of the car, it starts pouring.
Yes.
Go to the meeting, it mellows out. The minute we get out of the meeting, it starts pouring again. Yeah. So now we have you to blame.
Yeah, you can blame me. That's okay.
So that's like brings us back to the obstacles yesterday.
Exactly.
How can we get late to the studio,
right,
which it is raining on?
Yeah. One of those external obstacles we talked about that you can't control, but how to deal with it and get through it. And worked out well.
Right.
Now decompressing from the rain. Hopefully when we get out of studio, it'll be beautiful sunshine.
You were a little tense on the way over here.
I was.
Yes.
I was absolutely. Well, we have an in-studio guest today, so I was worried that we wouldn't be here to meet him and things like that. So I just wanted to make sure it was all
because we had the pony and the balloons and everything ready for him.
Yeah, I mean the parade was coming down and then the rain came, so it was kind of. But yeah, I'm super excited about today's guest. We're going to talk with him in just a little bit, and his message that he shares goes along with yesterday's show. So I'm super excited to delve into that and kind of get some more information.
And what's great about him, he's not only just an amazing speaker and inspiration, just such a talented individual, too, that everybody will get to share it with us.
Absolutely. Yeah,
today.
And have fun. I like that he comes from a comedy background as well, so...
That's good.
It's going to be
Funny
some
is
fun.
good. Well, we talked about that yesterday, how important humor is in your life to make change. And you know, you've got to laugh.
Right.
You've got to enjoy life.
Yes. Even in those bad times, find something positive. Laugh about it.
Exactly.
Like today. So you're going to do, in the rain, you decided to do some impressions so I could laugh and get through it.
The spot on ones. Yeah,
yes, they were perfect. Yes, if you want to hear any of Jonathan's impressions, yes,
please
find
don't
us on,
call in.
Right, please. Don't ask him to do them, but find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You'll get to catch some of those.
Yeah, because I do them on Facebook. I do my impressions. I type them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the best kind of impression, right?
Exactly.
You're going to get it spot on. It'll be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we do bring on our guests and stuff, we're going to also learn about his journey and where he is now, how he got there. Pretty amazing stories of how he got there and walked through the desert in, I don't know.
Rode here today.
Right? Rode here on his pony.
Well, I was rowing like a boat, but that's okay. Mike got it.
Okay.
He was rowing.
He got it. At least someone gets your humor, man.
Exactly.
About time.
I'm coming over this way now.
Nice. So I'm super excited. When we do come back from our break, we'll be talking with Mike and being able to get some more information from him and learn from his story. And if you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to find us on Facebook, send us a message, or find us on Twitter at DreamItCreateIt and tweet it. Send us an email, create@createitnowmedia.com. While we're on radio, we're also on the web with you guys. So go ahead and send in any questions you may have throughout our show today. And I'm excited to get into it. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
Excellent. So before we do that, we're going to let our sponsor speak, and we will be back in just a minute. You are listening to the Create It Now radio show, and stay with us.
Ben Bella Books is a publishing boutique that aims to be the publisher of choice for a select group of authors. Authors who value personal attention, a partnership philosophy, flexibility, and a creative approach to marketing. Ben Bella Books is a fast-growing, market-focused publishing house whose success is based on a few simple principles. They select their titles with care. They provide their authors with first-class service and partnership. And they provide aggressive, creative marketing for each title they publish. Find out more at benbellabooks.com. B-E-N, BellaBooks.com. And if you're a reader, check out the many great titles available at benbellabooks.com.
This is Les Brown, Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. Those of you that are listening, I encourage you to listen to Create It Now, because it will teach you how to live full and die empty, how to begin to manifest your greatness and make your mark.
The best television isn't on television. It's on the internet. Log on to realwisdomtv.com for thousands of hours of motivational and inspiring content. On demand, all the time. Unlike network television with its sex, drugs, and rock and roll, realwisdomtv.com provides wellness, wealth, and wisdom. From how to read faster to creating greater wealth, realwisdomtv.com is for you. The learning never stops, and neither does realwisdomtv.com. Log on now to realwisdomtv.com.
Create It Now. Continues. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Jonathan Stone and myself, Dawn Elizabeth, and we have a guest here in studio with us, and he has a guitar with him. I'm super excited.
Does.
Yes, our guest is a professional speaker and keynote artist. The cool thing about his presentations when he gives them, he uses comedy, his guitar, while sharing his message, and it's completely family friendly. He speaks to corporate venues as well as theaters, churches, associations, lots of different places. And the first time I met Mike Rayburn was at the NSA, National Speakers Association. I was a part of the Speakers Academy, which we talked about with Jasmine the other day. And he came in and spoke and helped us with our presentations, and he has been a huge influence on me from that moment forward. And
cool.
Yeah. Right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you're about to hear the story. Here we go.
Okay.
So Mike came in and was helping us with our presentations, and afterwards I had a question for him, and he sat with me for about 10 minutes and outlined how he gives his presentation and how I could utilize the same structure for my keynote presentation. And and it's helped me out so much from that moment forward. So welcome, Mike Rayburn. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely my pleasure. Great to see you. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm excited you're in studio with us, having fun.
Yes.
He's already been playing the guitar, and I've been bouncing over here in my seat. So, yay!
Nice.
I love it. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about going out and speaking in every realm that you speak and your message that you're presenting.
Well, I do a presentation called What If, and it's I wrote a book on it called What If: Dare to Do More, Be More, and Reach Farther Than You Ever Thought Possible. And in fact, Jack Canfield, the guy who did the Chicken Soup for the Soul and the Secret and everything, wrote the foreword for it. And he's been a real supporter. I do this presentation. It's just evolved from a combination of my being an entertainer in the past and then my being a nerd. And it makes a difference to me. You know, when you look at two people who are equally qualified, equally talented, equal opportunity, one of them rises to the top, the other is muddled in mediocrity. And I thought, why? You know, and I would listen to these different tapes. You know, Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy and people like that, and I've always just thought about those kind of things even before I listened to those tapes. And it I started doing this little message with my program, you know, with my regular just entertainment shows. But in fact, even comedy clubs, I would have this little bit of a message, you know, which is really not a place where people are looking to get motivated, right?
Right.
And then one day, a friend of mine came into the program, and she said, "Mike, you're clean, you're funny, and you have a message. You're a speaker, and you don't even know it." And I said, "What's a speaker?" Really, I swear, I did. And then she explained a little bit, and I thought, "Oh, you mean like a motivational speaker?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "No, that's not, So anyway, it took me 3 years to listen to her, and I finally did, and I joined the National Speakers Association, and I found my tribe. It was a great,
Nice.
and so I just kind of combined. I just looked at what are the three tools. What's if I had to break it into three things that made the difference in my playing for 7 people in a bar in Virginia and Carnegie Hall. What are those three things? And so that's what I teach.
So
Nice.
with those tools that I know I've seen you present and speak, and you live those tools as well. Which is awesome. Sometimes people will go and speak about something, but they don't necessarily live it. And I like that you're leading by example.
Well, cool. Well, thank you. It's that's one of those traits. When you look at the traits of successful people who rise to the top of their field, one of the things is they're congruent. They walk their talk.
Yeah.
And so I can't be out there espousing one thing on stage and someone sees me living something different, when I'm in the airport or when I'm traveling or whatever. So and you know what? It'll get back.
Wow.
Someone will, sooner or later, if you're not congruent, it will come out. And we watch it happen with politicians and artists and movie stars
Everyone.
all the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
So you travel a lot. How many days a year do you think you travel?
About 150 or so,
Wow.
160, sometimes up to 180, which is cool because that means I'm home 200.
Right.
So I
Right.
have a great career and I get to be home.
Yeah.
But I travel a fair amount.
Right. Do you enjoy it?
Absolutely love it. That's one of the challenges. I don't like it when I'm gone now for a long period of time because I've got kids and my
Right.
wife and.
We actually met your wife. She did the show.
I know.
She was great. Gave us amazing tips.
Yep.
Yeah. She said, and she made a point of saying, "I didn't call you a bonehead."
Well, you know what? We'll have to replay the show.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. We'll have to check that out.
The check didn't clear yet.
Yeah,
exactly. So,
I have to check.
but like last month, October, you said was one of the busiest months. How many days out were you in October?
I don't know how many
Vegas.
days out. I don't think about that until tax
okay.
time. I think of it in terms of how many bookings I had. And I had, this is pretty unusual, but I had 15 full fee or close to it bookings in October.
Nice.
And then another 3 the first week of November. So it was really the most extensive, lucrative 5 weeks of my
Right.
life. Yeah.
So with all the different places you've been, what's the one that sticks out in your mind the most? That has,
Over all my career?
yeah, that
or
has
over,
over your career that has impacted you.
what you mean, performance or location?
Besides
or,
this
Either
show.
way. So
besides this show.
Yeah.
right. No, either way, what's like really impacted you?
Well, impacting me, playing Carnegie Hall
Yeah.
was a major impact because that's, it's a storied venue. Tchaikovsky himself conducted a symphony there.
Wow.
All the people that are, that I consider the icons and mentors of in artistry and especially music have performed there, and then to get to play there first of all, and then to get the headline there, and then to
Wow.
get to record a live at Carnegie Hall CD was that's got to rank up there in the top 3 or 5.
Absolutely, yeah.
So are you known as a speaker, entertainer, or both, or do you do different gigs, or that's all your one gig now?
Great question. I focus on doing my keynote presentation because it brings together all the elements. It's great if you do one thing and you
Right.
just concentrate on that one thing. It's awesome. I'm just a country singer, or I'm just an actor, and I just do this kind of role, or whatever. And that's my challenge has been that I'm interested in a lot of things. So I have a degree in classical guitar, but I don't want to be just a classical guitarist. I love stand-up comedy. I would, if they cut my hands off, that's what I would do. Speaking in comedy. But it's not just comedy, and it's comedy with the music.
Right.
Those things make sense to me when put together.
Right.
And then the message is just who I am. It just comes out. I'd be saying it if I was just an entertainer, I would still be saying the things I'm talking about on stage to friends, in
Right.
council at some point. So I consider myself first and foremost a keynote artist. Now, probably and 75% of my bookings are that. But then there's also ones where and I have one coming up next month, where it's just entertainment, where they say, "Nah, we don't want to learn anything. Let's just make us laugh." Okay, I will do that, and I can, and I love it.
Yeah.
And it also gives me a chance to try out things because I'm always writing in those directions. So I have new comedy songs, and I have new instrumentals, and I have new, things to do.
Now, I just have another question. So just to explain to our audience and stuff, because they know about headliners and stuff, what is a keynote?
Great
because
question.
people might not understand what a keynote is. So
Very good to clarify that. A keynote presenter, a keynote is kind of there's conferences, corporate and association conferences where they meet for either a day, 2 days, 3 days, sometimes a little more, and they learn their craft, or they come together for meetings on which direction their company's going. They learn new skills, they learn new software, they learn whatever it is that company wants to do, and they bring in speakers. And most of their speakers are high content, PowerPoint. They're going to talk about numbers and statistics and how to do this program or the trends in the industry. And that's great. But they usually, a keynote is kind of where everyone comes together, no longer in a breakout session, but it's for everyone to attend. And it's usually a more universal message. And it's a chance for them to connect and enjoy this presentation together. So, but for me, it's not just entertainment, or for anyone. It's most keynote speakers are not using a guitar, and they're not necessarily being funny. Colin Powell is a great keynote speaker.
he plays the mean guitar.
No.
Yeah, no.
You're wrong on that.
Okay, sorry. It says it right here.
Good try.
And so a keynote presentation, mine are usually the opening or the closing of a conference, because they want a message. They want something they can hang their hats on, but they also want to have fun.
And the energy, bring up that energy.
They want to start on a big note or end on a big note. Right. And so the tools I teach apply either in getting the most out of the conference or in applying later the stuff that you've learned.
Kind of bring it all together.
Exactly.
In the last.
Exactly.
Nice.
No, that's really important, because I just wanted a lot of people to know the difference. If you're saying headliner, what's a keynote? They're like, you're a keynote speaker. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So that's what they do.
Cool. So when you say you said comedy and music. So I know you kind of utilize that in your, there it is. Utilize it in your presentation. But how'd you come about putting the music and comedy together?
Music and comedy together.
Yeah.
That was something that's always occurred to me. It made sense to me. And as I was growing up, I heard groups like, gosh, this is so old, but Homer and Jethro and Pinkerton Bowden. And I heard Jim Stafford back in the day, who did the Wildwood Weed and the Streak, and some of these Ahab the Arab, and some of these old funny songs. And I always just loved them. Later it would be Weird Al.
Right.
And they would be, we see them on, now they're all over YouTube. Right. And so it can be a number of things. It can be songs with funny lyrics, and you're just strumming along and doing something. I have a few of those. And then there are some that, where I'll take and combine artists. I'll do an imitation of, Bob Marley singing Garth Brooks or One Direction. I'll sing, Led Zeppelin singing Dr. Seuss. Just weird stuff like that. And then I also kind of went into an area of instrumental comedy. I thought, could you make somebody laugh with just the notes? It's a nerdy kind of thing, but I study that stuff. And so I have examples of all three if we want to do those at some point. So
right now would be great.
Okay,
do it.
Let's start big. I love this one. This is I mentioned Led Zeppelin singing Dr. Seuss.
Okay.
Do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam. I am. I would not, could not in a box. I would not, could not with a fox. Green eggs and ham. Green eggs and ham, green eggs, Sam, I am.
Nice. There you go.
Very good.
The crowd agrees.
The studio
Awesome.
is packed today.
Yes.
It is. Wow. Where'd you get all these people?
They
And
heard you were coming.
And when
Yes.
oh, yeah. That happens everywhere I play. It's just a sold-out crowd.
Awesome.
That
So that
was
was the
great.
mixture. I love it.
That's a combination. Just real quick songs that you can do that are funny with lyrics. She called on her new cell phone from somewhere at the mall. I could hear her girlfriends laughing at her side. She said that she was next in line there at the tattoo stall, and she just called to ask if I would mind. And I said, Mama, you're too old for a tattoo. And while you're under my roof, you'll do what I say to do. So come home from the mall, 'cause I don't care if all your buddies from the senior center want one too. Mama, you're too old for a tattoo. You
Nice.
get the idea.
I
It goes
like
on.
that.
It goes on.
And the audience
Very
goes crazy again.
Very cool. So, how do your kids like that you use music when you in that? Do they ever see you perform or speak?
Yes, they do, and they've actually helped
Really?
with the creation of things. Because kids, that's what I teach. I teach possibility thinking. If you really sum it all up, it's about possibility thinking, and being willing to look at something that's right in front of you and see something different than everyone else sees. And so kids are great at that. And in fact, I can do. This is actually one of the best tunes I do. This one, my daughter helped me with. It's a Taylor Swift parody, and to help them kind of keep that sort of possibility thinking and that openness, I jump into their world. So I became a Taylor Swift fan. So this is a parody of her "You Belong with Me" song. You're on the phone with your boyfriend, he's upset. He's going off about the homework he doesn't get. He'll never know mathematics like I do. I'm at the library studying for a test. He's been out hitting mailboxes with a bat. He'll never know quantum physics like I do. But he wears muscle shirts, I wear bow ties. He's good looking and I forgot to zip my fly. I'm dreaming of the day that you wake up and find that what you really want is a superior mind. If you could see that I'm the best at Nintendo Hall Monitor, then why can't you see? You need a nerd like me. You need a nerd like me. We have enough time to go on with it?
Go for it.
Walking with you through the halls of the Science Museum, talking all about Pythagorean theorem, looking at my comic books, thinking to myself, I bet she likes Star Trek, and you've got a brain that would make Albert Einstein proud. You use words that your boyfriend can't pronounce. The only thing you have in common with him is that you're both way into him, 'cause he plays football, I'm in the chess club, he's team captain, and I collect rare bugs. I've only got brains, he's got the brawn, but in 10 years he'll be mowing my lawn. If you could see that I'm the best at Nintendo Hall Monitor, then why can't you see? You need a nerd like me. If you could see that I play Dungeons and Dragons, got a scholarship to MIT, he'll get a GED. He'll get a GED.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I have
You were
that.
singing the words.
Yeah, I have the CD. I was just going to tell you, I have the CD, and I have a collection, a playlist on my phone of different songs that I use like to motivate myself, and that's actually one of the songs in that playlist.
Do you think of yourself as a nerd?
No.
I was going to say no.
No,
You don't
I
strike me
don't.
as a nerd.
The reason, actually, what motivates me from it is knowing you and your story with it. So when I hear it, I just think about where I want to be and where I want to go with it.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Even
that
better.
is in my list.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So you're talking about this possibility thinking, which I love that phrasing of it. And has there ever been a time in this journey for you that you've kind of hit a brick wall or you've hit obstacle that you had to kind of think out of the box to get around it?
Yeah, like monthly. Yes, there's been plenty of times like that.
Yeah.
And I've had different things happen. I had a pretty poor business associate who kind of went the wrong direction on some things and did some things that put me in a bad position. And so I had to get creative real fast and come up with sort of retool my career. I've had to do that a couple of times. And so asking the question, what if, and then the other tools that I teach with the What If program, by definition, when you do it in a positive way, it opens up the possibilities. What if we could do that? What would it look like? People, I'll guarantee you, every one of the listeners out there right now has someone in their life that's the naysayer, the one who's always like, yo, you can't do that. Are you crazy? Why are you trying that? That's stupid. Man, you'll never get that. You know how it's going to turn out. And you either have them in your business, you have them in your families, and if you don't have them anywhere else, be careful, it might be you. No. So here's what I like to do with the naysayers. When they say, because I get this, when I've got some ideas I'm working on right now that are crazy out of the box for improving my keynote, and I have people say, "Oh, that's nuts," and I go, "You're right, it is nuts. But what if it wasn't? How would we do it?"
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
What if we do it? What if we could do it? I know we can't, but what if it's what I call conditional surrender. You're surrendering to. You say, you know what? You're right. You probably can't. But what if we did? How would it happen?
Yeah.
It's like saying, you know what? You're right about those obstacles, but let's start with a solution anyway. And there's and the cool thing is there's two powers behind the question, what if? Number one, it doesn't mean you're going to do whatever this is. Counterintuitively, that's one of the strengths, because if it doesn't mean you're going to do it, that means there's no consequence.
Right.
And if there's no consequence, at that moment, absolutely anything is possible. And that's where we all want to start. Not with the, well, I know I can't do this, or I know I can't do this, but what? No. Let's throw all the no's out and just start with, what if it was a completely clear palette? What would you do?
Nice.
What if we could? That's go ahead.
No, it's great because it removes the fear out of looking at, an obstacle or anything like that. It just removes the fear and it just gives you a clear path, which I think is amazing.
You're exactly right. And that's one of the things I point out, that we're just trying to get past that fear. Let's start by anything being possible. That's one power. And the other power is that, see, our minds thinking is questioning. Our brains are constantly going, like if you're driving, is the light turning red or green? Which direction should I go? What did she say? What did she mean by what she said? That kind of question. And so, because thinking is questioning, when people ask questions more or less what I call naturally, when they go through their day and they have questions, and if they're asking open possibility questions, then those are the kind of answers and the kind of life they're living. As opposed to if you're not, you're not. And so when you choose the question, the great thing is that they're not natural. They're actually not natural. Our brains have been programmed from an early age by the families that we grew up in, the environments, the experiences. So if they're not natural, we have a choice. We can change it. So when you ask the question, what if, you have reprogrammed your brain to where you are now walking through life no longer looking for reasons that you can't. You're looking for reasons you can. Mm-hmm. That makes a huge difference.
That's great. It's very powerful.
I think absolutely.
Yeah,
and I want to kind of delve more into that and talk a little bit more about that what if and the possibility thinking. And so after we come back from our commercial break, I want to kind of get into that a little bit more. But before we jump to our commercial break, just if you want to throw out your website so people can find out where to get a little more information on you specifically.
Absolutely. It's simple. It's MikeRayburn.com, and that's MikeRayburn, MikeRayburn.com. And you can get any of that information there. And I also invite you to go to YouTube and check out the video for the Nerd Like Me song. It's a pretty funny video.
Nice.
And I can brag on it because I just got a director and actor. I'm just strumming. It's pretty funny.
Nice. Great. Well, thank you. And we'll be right back after this sponsor break. You're listening to the Create It Now radio show. Don't forget to find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Dream It, Create It, and we will be right back.
Hi everyone, this is New Media Vegas, your Sin City webmasters in Las Vegas, Nevada.
More than just web design, complete integrated marketing with inspired innovations in delivery of your new media message, putting the groove and the backbeat back in your brand.
The hottest in design trends with the latest innovations in marketing techniques. Call New Media Vegas at 702-517-0184.
Or visit us online at www.newmediavegas.com. Don't forget to check out our online magazine, Sin City Presents, featuring business, technology, fashion, dining, and entertainment news.
702-517-0184. 702-517-0184. We're blowing it out at Gene Woods Racing Experience, Las Vegas's newest premier outdoor adrenaline-powered gasoline go-karting track with speeds in excess of 45 miles per hour if you've got the balls. We've got 2-for-1 Tuesdays, buy one and your friend rides free. We've got $5 off coupons, and remember, on your birthday, members ride free. And they get a free Gene Woods Racing Experience t-shirt, open Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. till 11. Saturday and Sunday, noon till 11. And we're located at 121 East Sunset Road in Las Vegas Boulevard at the Sports Center across from McCarran Airport. Come blow the doors off your competition at Gene Woods Racing Experience. Once you race here, you won't go anywhere else. Be there. Be there. Be there. Be there.
My name is Brandon Shia, and you're listening to Create It Now.
Those who can do. This is Create It Now. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello, and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. If you're just tuning in with us, we're speaking with Mike Rayburn, who is a keynote artist and fabulous person, amazing journey, who's been sharing his story and his message with us about possibility thinking.
Yes. No, I'm having an amazing time. And one thing I love about what you do, the power of music is amazing. It doesn't matter what state of mind you're at. You can listen to a song. It can bring you back. You can be sad. It'll make you happy. It's just, I think music just brings you up. And for you combining the two and giving a positive message,
right,
we really applaud you. And we're so honored that you're here.
Thank you.
And so I have a quick, do you have like a what if song?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I've never written one. It's a great point. But
okay.
That'd be
no,
cool.
Now keep in mind, when I do the keynote presentation, I don't stop and sing anything serious.
Right.
In other words, I'm not going to sing, I will always love you, or
right,
or the Menudo's greatest hits. I don't do that kind of thing into where I'm just actually singing a real song, because it's a different kind of listening. And so I will do either comedic songs or I will do instrumentals. And so I don't have a what if song like keep asking what if and your life will be better.
Right.
So we're waiting for somebody like Aerosmith to do it, and then you can.
Then I'll parody it.
Exactly.
Nice.
Okay, Diane Warren, if you're listening, we need a what if song.
No, what I would do, it's an interesting challenge, and it's interesting that no one has ever said that before, but you have. And so now I'm charged with what would I do with this? And what I would do is I would make it funny but have a point, because we got some of those sort of sardonic or those satirical things, but do have a point in the humor,
Yeah.
That's a good challenge. It's a what if question.
We threw down the Create It Now gauntlet to take action now and create a what if song.
Yeah, and
you can
what I'll do
premiere
if
it here.
I write it, I'll premiere it.
No.
We're thinking on the same
What do
one.
you mean, what if? Wait, not if you write it.
What if?
What if it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. It's going to go to number 1.
Yeah. So talking about the what if question, when I go in and do workshops, and in the workshop we'll ask that what if question, and I do get those naysayers of we can't do this, we can't do that. And as soon as we start talking about what if, even people who have that hard shell will start to break out of it, which is an interesting thing to see. And the one thing that usually will happen is they might not necessarily answer the what if now, but you can tell they're at least thinking.
You've planted the seed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of the thing with it's reprogramming your brain to think in a new way.
Right. And it is contagious. I mean, it does work with others, sometimes whether they want it to or not.
Right.
And I've even had people come up to me. I get emails from people who talk about how they applied it. And I even have there was a guy who came up who had heard me like 3 years early. He said, "We heard you 3 years ago, and we love the what if thing." He said, "Since then, every month when our board meets, we sit down and we start with the question, what if?" And it's been a really powerful thing for us for these years. And so, you know, it went Sprint. It went viral through Sprint. They told me, they said, "Man, we heard your keynote." And everyone came back just asking it. And then the whole company started doing it. And you remember, they actually had a series of commercials that said, "What are your what ifs?" Oh. And I went, so a little love over here.
Right?
You know, throw me a bone.
Yeah, exactly.
But they did book me some more.
There you go.
So
Nice.
so it does work.
Yeah, absolutely.
What made you come up with what if? Were you just on the road? Because it's great. It's very poignant. How
We've
did
all
you
heard
just feel
it.
that?
Yeah, we've all heard it before. So why apply this?
Right.
Yeah, that's a great question. What I did was I looked back at what worked for me, and I realized that what I was doing, I would start playing. This is how I start my keynote presentation. I talk about how I would play in bars, and people would yell out stupid requests under the alkafluence of alcohol, and I didn't know what to do with them, and I looked kind of dumb. I looked like deer caught in headlights. Well, like, well, I don't know. And we've all seen someone on stage who's not doing very well, and we're uncomfortable for them, and our skin crawls. Right, and that was me, and I got fed up. And there's a great wisdom to becoming fed up. If the status quo is not working, get fed up. That's when things change. So I got another one of these requests, another chance to look really bad. And what I discovered, and I absolutely live by this, I try to live by this, every chance to look bad is actually a chance to look really good. But we just have to be the engine that makes that change. Right. And it causes us to tap into something new. And so I got one of these requests, and it just clicked. And I don't know, God sent it into my head. I just thought to myself, what if I could? What would I do here? What? Right. And I didn't mean I went and learned the song. It meant I came up with a funny way to change the lyric or something and play with the artist. And they laughed. And I liked that. And so then it happened again, and I did something goofball again, and they laughed. And I went, this is kind of cool. And here's the point, though. Those things, and I say this to every listener out there, those things that are challenges, those things that are sitting there in your life and you're like this dark cloud, this thing that you avoid or hate or you dread or whatever, what if that's there to bring out the best in you? I know it's probably not, but what if it was? What if that's there to bring out something really good? Because what if there's an opportunity in it? Because these requests that I dreaded every day made me a comedian, they made me a speaker, they brought out the best in my entire career, but they just didn't look like that when I started. And so metaphorically, we've all got something like that, all of us.
And what I really like about it, that was your aha moment. And what I like about Mike's story is so much that he could do it. He's also saying that anybody else could do it. All they have to do is just sit back and go, what if?
Yeah.
It wasn't like somebody came and gave you great wisdom and go, do this. You just had to do it yourself and say, what if? You got out of your own way, what we were talking about yesterday, and created it and made it happen, which is good. And the best part is when you make people laugh, then you can say whatever you want. They're still with you.
Oh, yeah. The more they laugh, the more license you've bought, to do what you want.
Yeah.
And here's the important thing about laughter is it's disarming. It causes people to be at ease, and they hear the message better. We like to laugh together.
And you create friends. When you're on stage and you're performing and people are laughing, they're almost like family. It becomes like one, and it's really amazing. It's very powerful, and that's why I love, when I would do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you connect
absolutely.
a lot easier.
You're so right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so are there anything that you haven't experienced yet that you want to experience? Because I know, like, you and I, a couple months back, we were talking about how we both kind of tried out surfing, and that's been fun. Like, what else is there that you...
Oh, I got a whole list of
them.
Oh, yeah, I got all kinds of things.
What's the next one you're going to do?
What if you could do the next thing you want to do?
What would it be?
Well, first of all, it's improvements to the keynote. And artistically, though, things I want to apply. Well, I guess I'll just kind of put it out there. I want to do a duet with me. Well, how do you do that? Well, video or hologram.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm writing right now this souped up Beethoven's Fifth Symphony with a bunch of other things I won't even mention now thrown into it, instrumental, to be a closer. It's a guitar duet, and I will record the other half of it and play it either as a video. My goal is to do it as a hologram. I just don't have right now, I can do it right. I could do it. I could shoot the thing and be doing it a month from now. if I had 100, 112 grand to put into it. But the technology is very, very expensive. So there are a couple ways that I've seen to maybe get it a little bit cheaper. And so I'm saying that now because if anybody out there knows anything about this, they can email me.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you were to take that to one of your audiences from before, those drunken audiences you have, they're like, I'm seeing two. No, you really are seeing two.
Exactly. But see, it'd be cool to have that chance to, and I could do it in a lot of different ways.
And you can have a lot of fun with it too. You can totally play around and go back and forward to that person.
Yeah. I wasn't planning to share this with you guys, so I'm like, did I let this out of the bag? Should I? But I feel good about it. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Like I actually have like a lot of times when I hear different ideas, I get like my brain goes in multiple different directions. Oh, what about this? And how about this and this? Yeah, I'm like now my brain's like, oh, what if we did this? And then how about that? Yeah. So,
anything is possible.
I love creative juices.
See, here's the cool thing: you created it here, and we'll help you with that. We know how to do that.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. Well, see, I also want to take the content that I share because I'm a nerd. I study things like life management, which is actually time management. I study things, goal setting, and how to make plans for those goals. Because everybody has these goals, but it's like I really realize as I've taught this, I've learned from the people that I'm teaching. Hold it. The challenge here is, okay, I've got this goal. I want to do this. Now, where do I start? How, it's one thing to if you set goals, you rise to the top 10% of all people already. Because most people don't even have goals.
Yeah.
Right.
The average time perspective for a person in America is 2 pay periods. That's how far ahead the average human being thinks, which is horrible. So if you set goals, you've already risen to the top 10%. If you then make a plan for them and set a date, then that's when things start to happen. But what I was realizing from teaching is that I needed to go into develop a process for how to achieve the goal, starting with defining the goal, all the way down to it's complete and you're celebrating it. Mm-hmm. And I mapped it out, and I've been that's been the last month. So I'd like to take all this content now and put it online as a virtual training.
Nice.
Yeah. So everyone can reach it.
Exactly.
You can reach more people.
Exactly.
Right. And the way you said it, so a lot of people know, it's actually like a business plan, and with an exit strategy of what you want to accomplish and where you want to go with it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Which it's great advice, and what I like about that so much is this business model can be done in so many different ways, like an entertainer, headliner, keynote, whatever, to, a shoe store, whatever. It's having that plan, setting those goals, achieving it, having that exit strategy afterwards, and you can apply it to anything. It doesn't just have to be in one field, or I can't do this because I don't know how.
Oh, that's the whole point, is that I get to go in and teach. It's a universal principle. I mean, the principles that I'm teaching, they're universal. So they apply to teachers, and they apply to financial planners, and they apply to managers, and they apply to associates at Walmart. And I've done gigs for all of those, I'm going to do a program for folks that they develop ethanol in December. Well, it applies to them too. That's a cool thing about this career. I get to learn that. Who knew that there was a National Coil Coaters Association?
Wow. Right?
Yeah. And
we know.
I have played the the Concrete Pavement Association of South Dakota. You know that your career is just headed uphill when you're doing that.
At least they didn't bury you in it up to you, so that's a good thing. So you must have
it's
done
concrete.
well.
That's good. Nice and
Exactly,
solid. You gotta love it.
Are you footing?
Excellent. So we have on the phone, we have Steve with us who has a question that he...
Hello.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
How's everybody doing today?
Good,
Wonderful.
thank
How are
you.
you?
Great, Steve.
So what was your question?
I really enjoyed his song, number one. Number two, I have a question about motivation and multitasking, because you just mentioned something about doing a lot of things and your brain is racing. As you can tell, I'm a high-energy person, and I do that a lot. Here's my theory. In multitasking, I've read some reports saying that sometimes it's not, for a lot of people, it's not the best thing, because as the quantity of tasks increase, the quality of each task that you accomplish gets less. In other words, you can do two things at once. You can talk on the phone and type, but if you talk on the phone, type, try to run a machine, and do something else, it's going to get worse. And the more things you add and add and add. So I wonder what your guest thought about multitasking for most people. Is it usually a good concept in the whole theme of motivation, or is it not?
Great question, man. Yeah, and well articulated.
Yes, I was just going to say Ritalin, but
Really, I need about 3 more cups of cappuccino. I'll be okay.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah. Here's what I think. First of all, I equate this to, it's kind of the same as being a jack of all trades, master of none. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you got a lot of things that you do, then how do you take that as far as you could take one thing? For instance, I can play piano, and I can play bass, and I can play most instruments that have strings and frets. Mandolin, banjo, ukulele, I can play those. But every minute I spend on a ukulele or on a piano or on a bass is a minute I'm not playing guitar. So really the focus for me needs to be guitar. So to be direct on the caller's question, I think that to do any one thing well, you need to focus on that thing. And here's the point. In the studies that I've read about it, no one multitasks. What you're doing is just quickly jumping back and forth from task to task. But you can't really be doing two things, actually doing two things that you're concentrating on and focused on at the same time. Right. And so I think to do well at any one thing is to, you will do better at any one thing than you will at a group of things. And that goes for, in the macro view of it, meaning career and choices of your gifts, acting on what, gifts you have. And it means multitasking on the phone and typing and those kind of things. You're going to type a lot better if you're not talking on the phone at the same time. And you're going to do it faster. Okay. And so that's my thought.
Yeah, so if you're focusing on it, you're going to be able to put your best effort into it. When you're focusing on three things, you're not going to have the best effort. You're going to have a third of the effort into it.
And we've all been on the phone with someone who's typing at the same time and tell me how or someone who's got their text out and they're doing something else. And do you feel like you're real important in that conversation?
Of course not.
No, they're preoccupied.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Steve, thank you for the call and the question. We really appreciate it. And also Mike for answering. Excellent. I love it. We are going to take one last sponsor break. So you're listening to the Create It Now radio show. Don't forget to find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Dream It, Create It, and we will be right back.
We're blowing it out at Gene Woods Racing Experience, Las Vegas's newest premier outdoor adrenaline-powered gasoline go-karting track with speeds in excess of 45 miles per hour if you've got the balls. We've got 2-for-1 Tuesdays, buy one and your friend rides free. We've got $5 off coupons, and remember, on your birthday, members ride free. And they get a free Gene Woods Racing Experience t-shirt, open Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. till 11. Saturday and Sunday, noon till 11. And we're located at 121 East Sunset Road in Las Vegas Boulevard at the Sports Center across from McCarran Airport. Come blow the doors off your competition at Gene Woods Racing Experience. Once you race here, you won't go anywhere else. Be there. Be there.
Hey, it's Roxy from the 702 Rock Show, right here at VegasAllNetRadio.com. Listen to my show every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear about local artists, musicians, fashion designers, and more right here in Las Vegas. So tune in every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear me, Michelle Roxy Davis, right here at VANR on the 702 Rock Show.
You're listening to the Create It Now Radio Network. This is Larry Benet, the Connector. Invest in your network, and the network will invest back into helping you. The more connection currency you create, the faster you get whatever you want in business and life. You're listening to the Create It Now Radio Network.
Welcome back to Create It Now. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. If you're just tuning in with us, we've been having an amazing conversation with Mike Rayburn, the keynote artist. He's a comedian and a musician, a speaker, all around good guy, amazing. Love having him in studio. And you can re-listen to the broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com, or you can find the archived version at www.createitnowmedia.com. And Mike, I want to say thank you so much for being in studio with us. Had a blast.
Thank you.
This
Very
has been
fun.
great.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Yeah, and possibility thinking. I love that phrase, and I may have to use that phrase a few times.
We already stole his what if, you told him. I'm going to teach you about royalties.
No, we're sharing.
I'm going to teach you about this. Residual income.
Yes, anytime I say those two words.
Patent it, trademark it, come on.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what can you do?
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Well,
great inspiration.
Thank you. You know, I actually had a guy who stole half my show one time, and he used to
Really?
perform it. Yeah, and the guy who engineered the CD that it was on, it was a live CD, was on a cruise, and they went to hear the entertainer, and he heard half my show, and he had engineered the record, so he knew it, and he went up to the guy and said, "You must know Mike Rayburn," and the guy got this flash of panic, and and so what we decided was, I'll just write new stuff.
Exactly, that's the only way. Because the thing is, if they hear him first, then they think you stole it. You know what I mean? That's the worst part of it.
You're absolutely right. No matter what. In fact, back in the day, I had a Michael Jackson bit, and it was on his website, and I saw it. I'm like, that's my bit. What do you know? And that's balls, whatever. And so he, so I just said, no, we just got to shut up.
Yeah.
Just got to shut up. And if anybody hears that, and then I go and do it, they think I'm copying him.
Yeah.
And that one quote is, if you want to be original, be prepared to be copied.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And keep creating. And that's the whole thing. Just keep creating, keep creating.
They're going to copy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a boxer. If you're not training, somebody's training to beat you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
No, seriously. Somebody's training to beat you. They'll steal your stuff. They'll do whatever it takes to get to number one. So you got to keep prepping, keep going.
Well, in fact, there's a guy I was a staff songwriter for Sony in Nashville in the 90s, and I was working with a guy. It was one of the top studio players and in Nashville, and he came in. He was looking kind of tired, and he normally didn't. And he said he was up till 2 a.m. practicing. And it's like, he's the best in Nashville. Why do you practice? And he's like, I practice now more than I ever did.
Wow. Yeah, you have to. You have to stay in your craft. Absolutely. Just because you're good doesn't mean you can't get better. Yep. And so, Mike, tell us again your website, how people can get a hold of you. MikeRayburn.com. That's MikeRayburn.com. And we're working on the server here a little bit. Maybe we just had such a great response that
it's overwhelming and imploded.
Overwhelming response.
Yeah. And check me out on YouTube. There's some fun videos there.
Yeah, absolutely. So MikeRayburn.com as well as on YouTube. And we will also be back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the Create It Now radio show. Next week is Thanksgiving as well, so start thinking about what you're thankful for.
And we have a great guest on Tuesday.
Absolutely. We have some great information and guests on Tuesday next week. And so, Mike, would you like to bring us out?
Yes, I'm going to play, I'm going to sort of change it up here. This is a place, I'm playing this with 2 hands on the fretboard. It's a piece called Belcher. Goes like this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
We are going to have to start videoing all these.
Yes, I just threw on the camera for the last few seconds.
Yeah.
Hey, we got it.
Yeah, that one's kind of visual as well.
Yeah, right.
Because it's 2 hands on the fretboard.
Yeah, but we keep talking about videotaping the show, and we're going to have to start doing it as we broadcast and stream live.
Excellent. So thank you so much for being with us.
Open door.
Make sure you join us again next week from 3 to 4. Dream big, take action, and create it now.
Have an amazing day.